Hey, Bob Coppedge, CEO, Simplex-IT, Karachi Geek, and here is my rant review for September 2024. And there's actually a lot of events that I did, a fair amount of networking, mostly in Northeast Ohio, which is both unusual and kind of cool. And it started with a Are You Cyber Safe presentation or gig, whatever you want to call it, was put on by the state of Ohio and led by Ohio's Secretary of State Frank LaRose. And it was actually good. There's about 120 or so attendees, mostly in the small business side. And it was really about bringing home that idea that organizations, even smaller ones, have to be concerned about cybersecurity, and included some really good takeaway materials to help small organizations create that cybersecurity platform strategy and to recognize the fact it needs to be done. Hint, if you're not sure, contact us. We'll talk to you. Then later, there was a big data and AI meetup that was at the Cleveland Museum of Natural History, which is not fully opened yet because they have completely redone the inside and actually the outside as well. And I think in December they're supposed to be fully open, but we got a little bit of a sneak peek of it. And really great presentations by about four or five folks on big data and AI meetup, and really on a high level. We recognize the fact it's all here. We recognize the fact we need to do it now. What are some of the technologies behind it? And I'll admit, a lot of that topic over my head, and I love it. But it was really cool because you probably had 150 folks there who were just there to share their knowledge, their experience. It wasn't a whole lot of selling going on. Just brought back user group ideas or days gone by. So that was cool. The next day then, the AITP, Association of IT Professionals, formerly Data Processing Management Association. AITP is actually part of CompTIA. They had their monthly meeting, Shaping the Future with Leadership and Career Growth. That was over in Akron. There's about 15 or so folks, and that was a panel discussion talking about both from a mentoring standpoint, development standpoint, what can we do as some of the more seasoned professionals? Yes, that means I'm older, to help develop some stuff. But one of the coolest things, and I really wish I would have gotten permission from the guy to give a picture and all that, was one of the panelists who was a CIO approached me and said, "Yeah, you're Bob Coppedge, aren't you?" And I said, "Yeah." And it turns out that back in the 90s, when I was president of the Greater Cleveland PC Users Group, which was an all-volunteer group, about 1,200 or so people, we did about 40 meetings. It was just a fantastic group. About 1,200 members, did about 40 meetings a month. We also did a scholarship. And he was one of the winners. We only were able to do it for about 3 years or so, but he was one of the winners of a $1,000 scholarship at Cleveland State. This would have been back in the 90s, and that was one of the things that helped cement his decision to go into IT. And now there he is, 20-some years later, doing great as a CIO. It was kind of cool. Sometimes you don't realize the impact you can have on folks. So that was cool on the 17th of September. And then on to Denver. And one of our partners is BVoIP, which is a voice over IP vendor that not only makes the phone rings, a whole bunch more. I'm on their advisory council, so I went out there for a day meeting in Denver, and then stayed for their partner. And then there was a conference called MSP Initiative where I did a couple of board or panel discussions and the like. So that was a great week in Denver. Very, very useful. It was one of those smaller gatherings, which I love because you get more into the let's talk about specifics that we need to do. And one of the really great discussions we had was on automation, and had a great presenter on that one, and just was wonderful, as well as some of the sales and that sort of thing. So MSP Initiative, I think they're going to continue doing that. But that was, and then there's a ton of stuff that went on with Simplex-IT as far as talking with potential clients, developing, and it is taking longer and longer for us to create those relationships and those agreements with clients, which is fine. But it's a bit of a step by step figuring out what the best approach to make sure that organizations are getting the IT support and services that they need, whether it be through a pure managed or a co-managed relationship. Want to know more about that? Let me know. But we've also got stuff going on in October. So Simplex IT will be at a trade show, the DDP trade show, which is at the John S. Knight Center in Akron on the 23rd and 24th of October. If you're in the manufacturing field, and it's basically it's been a great show, and it's just the exhibitors. So not a whole lot of education keynotes, any of the other stuff. It's just come in, talk to all the vendors, talk to Simplex IT, 23rd and 24th. But we also have on the 23rd, evening of the 1st, I think it's from 4 to 6 or 4 to 7 or something like that, the manufacturing mixer. This is going to be a networking event. We're working with our security partner Sophos to do this a little bit, but there's going to be no presentation, no talk, no PowerPoint or death by PowerPoint at the Missing Falls Brewery in Akron. This is becoming our, if it's educational, it's Missing Falls. If it's just for fun, it's Quarter Up. But Missing Falls, I tell you, their brisket is ridiculous. Pulled pork is ridiculous. Anyway, so check that out. The links are all hopefully down below, and would love to see you at either D2P or Missing Falls Brewery, or potentially both. Anywho, have a good month.